Hey everybody, it's Tradiest Trades back with another video for you. It's the COT setup market of the week that I'm sharing here on YouTube. And today we're going to take a look at none other than corn. So just to be clear, this isn't investment advice. This is for education and information only. I give a shout out to Larry Williams because I learned all this stuff from him. It's great stuff. This is how I interpret it. And to be clear also, these are setups. Doesn't mean we're just going to blindly rush in and get involved in these markets. I'm going to show you fundamentals that underlie the market that suggest, hey, we should have some sort of significant trend change on the horizon that if it does happen, we know fundamentals underlie it and it'd be the sort of trend change that we can look to get involved in. Because markets move from point A to point B for fundamental reasons, and the indicators that I'm going to look at with you today each show a little different fundamental aspect of the market when combined, point towards good high probability trades. So let's get started. So corn here, July contract. Here I am on NinjaTrader. I'm using the Larry Williams COT index. Up at the top pane, the red line is the commercials. Okay, so that's the first thing I always look at is what are these guys doing? When they're in an extreme like they are right now, relative to the last 26 weeks, that's my first code to say, positioning is pretty extreme on the long side from the commercials. So the commercials are really bullish. I want to look further and see if there's anything else that says maybe I should be looking to get involved in this market. Going down, we see here the sentiment index was recently very, very bearish, extreme from the advisors. So the advisors are the ones that are telling their clients what to buy or sell. They get really extreme. And when they're juxtaposed to the commercials, that's that combination we like to see. So what we see has happened last week is they popped out. You'll notice that this indicator pops in and out of these extreme readings really quick. What matters to me is that it was very recently in that extreme, and it's coming out across after a nice bullish up move. We got a nice move last week up, which could imply this move is underway, and it could confirm that even more if we get it up into the bullish extreme. But anyways, the main thing is it was recently oversold. Undervalued versus gold, the next pane is valuation. So where the gold line here shows us the corn relative to the price of gold over the last 26 weeks is very undervalued. So there's three codes. All I need is three to say, you know what, this needs to be on my radar for a trend change. Until the trend changes, I could anticipate the price to continue down. But the conditions here suggest that, hey, if this does turn around, this market is supported by fundamentals that suggest the trend change should be significant. Okay, down here we see what I call the bubble up. The bottom pane is the net positioning of the parties, the red line commercials, green line small specs, and blue line the large speculators. So when they start to create a little bubble, we can visually see it create a little bubble like this, kind of like this bubble here. These are major market turning points typically. So here's a bullish one that happened in the past. Had this little bubble up where the commercials got really long, the large specs got really short, created this little bubble in the positioning, net positioning lines. See, it preceded a nice market low, multi-week up move. Here it happened again here back in July of 2024. Little bubble created, and it preceded a mega up move. That was the one that started in August and just kept on going. So that's what we're seeing here. And we'll head on over here and see if there's anything to glean from open interest. So the bottom line here is open interest. So what we see is open interest has generally been decreasing on this whole down move. So the general speculators, the guys that are speculating in this market, they're not as interested. Their open interest is lower, but the commercials have been very, very interested by getting more long. So that's a good sign because these guys know the most about these markets fundamentally. So also the last few weeks open interest has increased. So we see here the last few weeks this little tick up. And who's been driving the increase? Well, it's the commercial. So open interest being driven by an increase of long positioning is bullish for sure. What else do we got going on? We do have some seasonals, a little bit of bullish seasonal here until June. So basically the last little runway of bullish seasonal here, we see that the price has been bearishly diverging from the seasonal. So price making lower lows and lower highs when typically the seasonal tendency for this this corn contract is to go up. So, seasonal is the last thing to look at. If seasonal isn't in alignment with all this other stuff, seasonal shows us what's happened in the past. it does not show us what's happening right now, and that's where the positioning shows us what's happening right now. So the positioning trumps seasonals every time. So that's why it's the last thing that I really look at or pay attention to. And the last thing under the hood of the market, we're going to look at the price structure of this market. And what we're going to notice is that we're in a premium marketplace. So I'm going to show you what that means. So here's the front month contract for corn, and it's trading at 459. The next month, though, September, is trading at 437. So it's a backwardation market. Typically, typically the front month trades for less than the further months out, because the people that are taking delivery out in the future, they have the cost to protect it, they have the cost to insure it, they have the cost of the great unknown, and that's why the future months are typically more. In this case, we have the front month more than the next month out, and then also out into March. It's more than the December delivery, and then it's not more than March 2026. But basically, we are in a commercial bull market, so that's a bullish thing to see. The only thing that's not super great is the spread has not been. The premium has fallen off a bit the last few days on this rally. So in this spread chart, we have the current month contract is the bar chart here, and then this down here is the front month minus the next month out. So what we see is price has been making higher highs while the spread is weakening. So that's not great. I want to see the spread staying strong. I want to see demand for the front month to stay strong for that bullish condition to remain in the market. So that's the setup. Those are the conditions underlying the market that say, hey, if we get this trend change, this should be a very good trade to get involved with. So let's take a look at the technicals and see where we are right now. So corn, this is a rolling contract on corn. So I start on the monthly. What I notice on the monthly is, well, first of all, we put in a yearly upswing. You'll see this yearly buy line here. What that means is when we took out this high, that confirmed a yearly short-term swing low. So I'll show you what I mean here. When we took out 2024's low, we put in a higher low on the yearly. So that is bullish from a very high time frame. We see generally on the very high time frame as well, corn is in an uptrend, upsloping 18-period moving average. We have an upsloping 50-year this is a 50-year moving average, the red line. So that's all very bullish for corn. Then what else I notice is this blue line is 18-month moving average. And while we haven't had a technical true trend change like follow through that I like to see with my 18-period moving average trend changes, we're still holding above it and it's flattening out. That to me is bullish. And then we've also taken out a high here and we put in a higher high, which basically is a bullish trend change. That was a true trend change. Try saying that one fast. That's a tongue twister. So we got up above that. Now we're kind of making this kind of like a bull flag, and we're right above this 18-month moving average. Going down into the weekly, I've kind of drawn this flag. I don't actually trade flags or breakouts, but it does kind of look like a little bit of a technical pattern. So what I notice is we're now in a weekly 50-week moving average uptrend. The trend is sloping up on the 50-week, and we have not had any sort of trend change to the downside on the weekly. So we're still bullish on the weekly. Even we're just consolidating. I think we're consolidating prior to another big leg up. And what I notice here is this is the weekly moving average, the weekly percent R here down here. And since we are in an uptrend, weekly oversold levels will be good opportunities to buy. So what we see here is the 4, the 10, and the 14 period percent Rs all got very oversold last week, which, very oversold levels in an uptrend tend to be great opportunities to go long. We see here that we did get, sorry about that guys, that we did get very oversold here, and then at a couple week up move, but nothing to write home about. There wasn't really, to me, fundamental conditions for a real big trend change back here, but now those conditions are here in the market. So getting to a place where this is looking interesting. What I don't want to see is I don't want to see this low get traded through. Cause, that would be an 18-period weekly trend change to the downside. So I wouldn't really be too excited about that. But let's go look on the daily. What do I got to see to want to get involved in corn? So basically, for me, we've had a nice move here. We put in a higher a higher high. We took out this high here. So we're starting to put in a higher high. Can the bulls put in a higher low? For me, we're still not fully out of the woods yet from the perspective of have the bulls really given us a real trend change here? And I want to see follow through. So if we open up on Monday and don't trade back into this 18 period moving average, and then we trade up to this high, that'll be follow through for me. That'll be an actually confirmed trend change on the 18 period moving average method. Once that happens, I'll be good to go to start looking for oversold, more short to intermediate term long opportunities. And then if we can break above the 50 period moving average and have a full follow through, then I think, you know what, we're set up for a very, very nice, big, strong up move in corn. And that's basically what I'm looking for, guys. You wait until we get a real strong confirmation of trend change. I've had some soul searching going on within for my trading, and I used to be all about trying to catch the absolute top or the absolute bottom. And to me, I'm not as concerned about that anymore. As long as I can catch a nice little opportunity somewhere in the middle, that to me is the most important thing. And that's how I'm looking to work this. And I've shown you what I'm waiting for. 18 period moving average trend. Ideally get above the 50 and follow through above the 50. Then we know those oversold pullbacks are going to be super nice trade opportunities. Because here's the thing. This is a COT setup with fundamentals, positioning that are very large, massive positioning clues that we're looking at, and those don't just disappear overnight. Once we get this trend change here, that trend that we're foreseeing can last for weeks, and then if we get an opposing setup in the opposite direction, that setup can linger for weeks or months. That's why I'm shifting to being more conservative and waiting for more significant trend changes, because I've been spending more time looking at the charts and seeing how long do these COT setups take to play out, and sometimes they take months. In fact, there's a setup, if you look back in the history of coffee was set up for like a year, and had you tried to continue picking the bottom, you would have lost all your money, instead of maybe waiting for a more strong defined trend change. So that's it, you guys. This is corn. There's a lot of other great markets that are set up for COT trend changes, and then also lots of nice, really just technical setups. And if you'd like to know what I'm looking at, you can hit me up in my Discord, which is absolutely free. My email is tradiustrades@gmail.com. If you send me an email, I will get you a private invite link to my Discord. It's me. It's a group of other traders that are really, really supportive, and lots of us are trading this same approach, and some people have their own mix of things that they're sharing, and we're all learning from. So great crew. If that sounds like something you're interested in, just hit me up at my email. Hope you got value out of this, and if you did, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, share, tweet it on X. Do your thing, everybody. Get the word out there. I appreciate the support, and I hope you guys have yourself a great week ahead. Thanks for listening.